Good morning, good evening. We're so excited to bring our How Do You Prepare for My VisaScreen. This is part of our series of webinars that is entitled Ask Your Case Manager. We've done quite a few. They've been really awesome. We're excited to talk about the VisaScreen. We're excited to introduce our wonderful instructor, Kari Cooper. We're just excited to talk about the VisaScreen. It's been a topic, long time coming. And so let's get started. I'm Marlo Bench. I'm Director for RN Case Management. Ashley Hite is one of our senior case managers. Wave hi, Ashley. And Kari Cooper is our new English language coordinator. And I think many of you are familiar with Kari because she's been holding some amazing classroom sessions and teaching sessions. And we are just so thrilled to have her. So welcome, everybody. Good morning.
Hi guys. So thinking about what is a VisaScreen. A VisaScreen is a comprehensive screening program required by U.S. law for international healthcare professionals who are seeking a visa to work in the United States. So when you do this VisaScreen, you end up getting a VisaScreen certificate, and we'll show you what that looks like a little later. But this VisaScreen certificate is a U.S. federal screening and embassy interview requirement. So what that means is you will have to bring this VisaScreen certificate to your embassy interview. So thinking about the components of a VisaScreen, there's several items that are involved with this. So there'll be a application process, and that includes, there will be a payment. You'll have to supply a photo. They will look for information regarding your nursing license, any nursing registration, certifications you may have. And one note about that is they do ask that you supply information for any nursing license that you've had in any country. So it's not just supplying the information for one nursing license, but all of your nursing licenses. You'll also be entering information about your education, your diplomas, your transcripts, your English proficiency exam, and you'll have to get a passing overall score and a passing speaking score. Kari's going to talk more about the English exams in just a little bit. So I will save that fun part for her. All of these documents must be in English, and the documents must be submitted directly to CGFNS from the appropriate school or licensing authority. So a lot of times our nurses may want to say, you know, I'm just going to send this document, my transcript, directly to CGFNS. And unfortunately, that does have to be supplied by your school, and it gives all those directions as you fill out the VisaScreen application. And that process can all be done online.
All right, so thank you, Ashley and Marlo. Like they said, I'm Kari Cooper, and I'm going to talk to you about the English language proficiency exam, which is everyone's favorite part of the visa struggle with that speaking section of the exam. So find a practice buddy. Start speaking English every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes. Start speaking English every single day. So that's if you watch any part of this presentation about the English exam, anything I want you to take away, it's you should start studying ASAP. Don't wait until you get to the VisaScreen stage. So a little bit of background information or other information about the proficiency exam. A big key is communication, and a lot of candidates just forget to communicate to their case manager every time they take the exam. They forget to communicate to their case manager, sending a screenshot that they've registered. When you pass, you're very eager to share those score results. But even if you don't pass, you still need to be sharing those score results. You still need to be communicating with your case manager. That is extremely important. And it's always important to have those results electronically submitted to CGFNS with every single attempt. So even if you're just going at it your first time and you want to see it and test it out, still send the test registration and your results to your case manager, and make sure those results are getting to CGFNS, because you never know, you could pass the first time. Just a brief overview for those of you who haven't seen any of these exams. There is a reading component, a writing component, a listening component, and a speaking component to all of these exams. So getting into some of the changes, that's going to be on the next slide. I'm going to hit the big exclamation mark on the bottom twice. CGFNS language exam announcement does not change state licensure or endorsement requirements. Our licensure team has been working really hard to verify this change with all of the states here in the US, and we are not seeing any changes on their end. So just because of CGFNS announcement that they're accepting new exams, that does not change your state licensure or endorsement requirements. You still need to communicate with your case manager. Don't abandon ship. Don't take a different test just because CGFNS accepts it. Check with your case manager, and your case manager is going to advise you on the best course of action there. So a little overview of the program that Worldwide is offering for free. I've gotten a few questions of how much does this program cost? Good news, it's free to you. I'm a certified language English instructor. I've been teaching English for 15 years. In the language program, you will have the opportunity for some one-on-one speaking sessions. You have opportunity to, I give you practice exams. I'll give you feedback on practice exams. A really cool thing that a lot of those programs out there are not going to offer you is individual feedback, especially on your writing. So I do offer that. I do look at your writing and give you individual feedback. I give you personalized help based on what you need. So if you email me and say, Kari, I just can't pass the speaking portion, you and I will work on your speaking portion. You've got everything else covered. Let's just focus on speaking. So personalized instruction based on what you need. And then I do some live instruction. But with my live instruction, I always record it because Worldwide is literally worldwide. And so I cannot reach everybody on their appropriate time zone. So everything that I do, I record. So one more time, the CGFNS announcement that everyone has emailed us about, just because their exam requirements have changed does not mean state requirements have changed. So make sure you're checking with your case manager and you are taking the appropriate test.
Thanks, Kari. I appreciate you reinforcing that. If I could just add on that a little bit, sometimes uncomfortable or challenging to reach out to your case manager. We get a little bit nervous. I don't want anybody to ever be nervous. The reason we connect with Kari or your case manager, whether that's myself or Ashley, is because we really want to be able to work with you and go through your progress step by step with you. And if it's not going well, then we just need to know so we can give you the right direction and encourage you and give you the right tools and the resources that you need. It's tough to come to your case manager and go, you know what, I took the IELTS again. So when do I work on my VisaScreen? It is when Kari said, right away. I think we're really lucky. We have some nurses that have their VisaScreens as soon as they sign their offer, which actually is pretty fantastic. So I myself don't think there's really too soon of a time to work on it, but the sooner the better, because there are quite a few challenges that come with the requirements and things that need to be done to get your VisaScreen. So typically we let our nurses know maybe about stage 3, which is after your I-140 document submission to the attorney. I think if we're going to pick a launching point, that's where we're going to start. So the VisaScreen is processed through approved agencies. We get asked this question a lot, and so far we know that CGFNS, of course, is one, and Joseph Silney and Associates, and we found that out I think about a year or so ago. So that was really great. I believe they might be even a little bit more cost effective, but
I think so. I think so.
Thanks, Ashley. Ashley's with me. We're doing this together. So feel free, anybody, to hop on if you have something you want to add to what we're chatting about. CGFNS, we have a VisaScreen handbook. It's one of our resources. We put that out on many of our email communications with our nurses. It's a really big handbook. It can be really daunting when you open up that attachment and see that there's probably over 100 pages. You know, again, your case manager can drive you through that resource to show you, here's where you start, skip down to maybe page 25. Let's focus on this area. Those resources are put together to really set you up for success, and your case manager is going to be able to take you through the absolute best parts of what you really need to focus on. So we have an IELTS and TOEFL brochure that our wonderful marketing team tweaked up last year and put together. So we send that out as well. And as Kari mentioned before, even though we have all of these updates with the language exams, nothing changes from our perspective. It is the IELTS, it is the TOEFL. And I'm just going to digress for a sec. I understand that even TOEFL lowered their score. And we ran into an issue where the TOEFL lowered their score requirement, but it did not meet the state requirement that the nurse was going to. And that's where we ran into problems on the back end. So really just, there's an American expression, it's called business as usual, which means nothing changes. We stay the same. So nurses, just keep on doing what you're doing. Please understand, if we'd like that to change or if anything changes, we're going to let you know. Your case manager will direct you on should you deviate from that path. So the process of the VisaScreen is about stage 4, 5, and 6. And while your I-140 petition is being drafted by the attorney and then processed at the USCIS. And then you also want to email screenshots to your case manager. So Kari also touched on that a little bit earlier. And again, the reason why we want to see this is to make sure that you're doing the right things, that you're sending us the right information. Oftentimes we'll ask for a screenshot of something and then we will get an entirely different picture. Other information has been captured and it has nothing to do with a VisaScreen. For example, I have a lot of times where nurses will send me updates on their CES report. And even though we will also send you kind of an example of what that is. So let's hop to the next slide. So it will look something similar like this. You'll get into your CGFNS account and you can see that they'll give you direction that anything highlighted in red, red's bad, right? Red is a flag. So pay attention to that and make sure that you're seeing what it is that you need to finalize, or perhaps maybe there's a requirement missing or there's a pause on something. Orange means there's a delay. It doesn't mean there's a hard stop, but orange means that that CGFNS is processing, but it's going to take some time because they've run into perhaps a delay somewhere. Green's always good. Green means congratulations, that requirement is done. We always love seeing the green.
And I will say just real quick, these screenshots that Marlo is showing you, this is all like one internet page, and we just broke it up in a couple of different screenshots, but this would be all on one website. That's where this, through the CGFNS website, that's where these screenshots are coming from.
Right. And so you'll see in this next shot, you can see all the greens, which is fantastic. And along with it being green, it gives you the status description. So we know that the application documents, check mark, they're submitted. We know that the application has been paid in full. I will say that's another situation that we often run into where the nurse thinks that they've gone and paid for their application. And honestly, I think sometimes they really have, but for whatever reason, there's a bit of a delay on CGFNS's end. I think that they have pretty high traffic. So with everything that's going on right now, it takes a while for processing to go through. My advice to you is to please always follow up, not just follow up with your case manager, but follow up with CGFNS. Make sure you're keeping the lines of communication open and letting them know, ma'am, sir, I did pay that. And then you can provide documented proof that you've paid for your application. And that's really helpful also for you. Protect yourself by always keeping records of everything that you're doing. we see, oh, go ahead, Ashley.
Oh, I was just going to say, kind of off of what you were just saying, I agree with Marlo 100%. And if you do have questions for CGFNS through their website, there's a contact us type of page, and you can send messages, questions. If you're unsure about the status of a document, or you're unsure what something means, or any type of questions you may have, you definitely can just message them right there, and of course message your case manager as well. So it's great to use all those resources.
Thanks, Ashley. So we can see that they are waiting, in this screenshot, they're waiting for authentication, which just means they need to validate. Let's see, what is it? Is it a
transcript?
Transcript. Okay, so it's a tertiary school document, which is also known as a transcript. So can we give you a timeline for that? Because we get asked that a lot. They'll reach out and they'll say, hey, I've been waiting for weeks for this to be done. It's still not done. Do you happen to know, how much longer this is going to take? I would love to say that we do, but what I can say is that we follow those timelines really, really closely, and that we know there are delays, but honest to goodness, if we have an answer, we will put that out for you as soon as possible. Again, as I reinforced before, the best possible direction I can give you is that if you're waiting 3 or 4 weeks and you don't see any movement, that's definitely when you want to reach out. Please contact them, connect, and just let them know exactly that. My transcripts were already submitted. I see that that's been sitting there waiting for verification for 4 weeks now. Can you give me a status update?
Yep. And just one more thing I was going to add. As you see on some of these screenshots, there might be areas that are blacked out. Your actual information will not look like that. It'll show yours. That was just to protect somebody's personal information. Sometimes people ask that or think they need to black out their information. No, that's not the case. That's just to share this on this webinar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody's personal information is very important, and we protect all of that. So the last screenshot, and the one that I think all case managers hold their breath on more than any other one, is the passing English score. And I will say that probably 80% of the time, all case managers will see green tick marks by every single thing, but the last one is the passing the English score, which we joke all the time, and Ashley will give me a thumbs up on this, but if somebody were to ask us, English-speaking North Americans, to take that test, it would give us a run for our money. It would be really, really hard. I want all the nurses that can, within the sound of my voice right now, to understand that we are absolutely incredibly proud of all of you. We are impressed. We know it is an incredible amount of work and incredibly stressful to prepare for that exam and to take it. And we just know how difficult it is, and we are rooting for you. We know that you take these exams, and we talk about it. We go, hey, one of my nurses taking the exam today, and we're all there. We're all rooting for you. I know I'm using some perhaps maybe American vernacular or slang that might not make sense, but they're all good things, nurses, I promise. We just really want to cheer you on at every step, and we are very aware that this is a tough exam. And we're so excited to have Kari. We recognized the need. We knew that we had to set you up for better success. And so we were so excited to find Kari. And she tells me all the time how thrilled she is to work with you. And honest to goodness, I love that we have her to work with you. Please use her as a resource. She's really sharing a lot of good things. She's setting up these classrooms. I would encourage everybody to be working with Kari because she's rooting for you too.
Yes, I am, Marlo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just kind of wanted to add one more tiny little thing before you move on.
Sure.
And a lot of the times we get communications from nurses, not when you've registered for your exam. I really, really hit communicating with your case manager. But most of the time we get communication when something's been posted on a Facebook page or an Instagram page. And You see a lot of this information go out there, but please, 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 please do not trust what you read on the internet at all times. Because a lot of times, like I said, it may not be true. It might not be completely factual. They'll twist their words to make it look like it's a good thing, but it doesn't really impact you. So please reach out to your case manager. You can always reach out to me as well if it's an English exam requirement specifically. I am more than happy to give you feedback. And I guarantee you, if your case manager doesn't know, if I don't know, we will find the answer for you. The whole team is really good at working for you and finding the answer for you. So please don't go out and ask your friends or text your friends. Don't go Google the answer. Go straight to your case manager or come to me, or our licensure team's amazing as well. So that's probably one of my biggest advices out there, is just don't agree with what Facebook says or your friend said they read on Facebook. Just go straight to your case. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yeah.
That's a Monopoly reference. But
I agree 100%, Kari.
Go straight to your case manager. I've seen so many nurses waste money registering for exams and come to find out that state didn't take that exam. So they found themselves having to pay a lot of money again and take another exam. So just hang in there. I know the TOEFL and the IELTS, I know they're really hard. Just another fun fact, the TOEFL is accepted by all 50 states. The TOEFL is an American-based exam, and it is accepted by all 50 states. I know that it's got a bad rep, but if you pass the TOEFL, you know you're good to go in all 50 states here in the U.S. So just
but we can't help you if we don't know what's going on, if you're not communicating with us. So use us, and we are here to support you through this process to help guide you through it as quick as possible is our goal.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. So now we're going to touch on the tough love. Again, another American expression. I guess this is the best webinar to start bringing these out to familiarize everybody with how we sometimes refer to things in North America. But here's the tough love section of our webinar, and it is called Important Notes About the VisaScreen. And these are really, really important things for everybody to pay really close attention to right now. So 6 months after your petition is approved, we really need that VisaScreen to be done, not to start processing, not to start working on it, not to say, I just registered on CGF&S and paid my application. We need all of that to be done by the time your petition is approved by the USCIS.
And that's stage 6, just in case anybody wants, going off of Marla's other slide, she had said start at stage 3, and this part that she's talking about where the petition is approved is stage 6. So she's saying 6 months after that, we need it done.
We sure do. And there are many, many reasons we get asked this a lot. So now's a good time to share, why is there such a tight timeline? Well, there is a timeline because your petitioner, your employer, is checking regularly to see how you're doing. First of all, they're concerned about you and how you are and how things are going. Your case manager is always following your progress, and it's really important to be proactive and showing that you are constantly moving forward and putting forth that effort to fulfill all of the requirements for your immigration. And so anything more than about 6 months after your petition approved isn't really great, because it also puts a big hard stop on your immigration. Nothing will move forward until we get that VisaScreen. Now, that is also another question. Why, ma'am, sir, do you not move my petition forward? I'm going to get that as soon as possible. We have found that at this part in the process, things can move really quickly. And what I mean by things, it means your petition can move along really quickly from the USCIS to the Department of State to the MVC. And then what happens is it goes too far down the road and you get closer to an embassy interview. And we all know it can take months and months to get a visa screen. Well, if we don't put a hard stop, then you'll get to the point where we're at your embassy interview and you won't have a visa screen, and then you will 100% not pass your interview and you will get your 221G. And so we have to pick up a time in the immigration timeline where we have to put a little pause to wait for that document, because it is pretty much one of the most critical documents that we get for your immigration. So our goal is the visa screen by the time we get to stage 7, and stage 7 is the fee bill stage, which means your petition made it to the NVC. They've created your fee bill for yourself and your dependents, and now in order for us to pay that fee bill, we need that visa screen. And we won't pay the fee bill without the visa screen. And it's not because we don't care about you and want to see you succeed. It is for exactly that reason. Because we want to see you succeed, we cannot pay that fee bill until we have that visa screen, because all we would be doing would be sending you down a road of failure. Honest to goodness, I promise. And I know that's really tough sometimes. So we would love it if you prepare and start working on that as soon as you can. So beware of third-party agencies. We get asked this a lot, or we find out later after the fact that nurses have gone and paid third-party agencies to assist with processing their visa screens. Do we understand why that gets done? We do. We know you're working double shifts and 12-hour shifts, and we know that COVID has just caused extra work and strain and time on your resources, and we know that it is really helpful to incorporate the assistance of somebody else to help us do that requirement. But I want you to know that if I could do something like process a visa screen, I guarantee you can do it. We want you to save money. First of all, it is extremely costly. I don't want you to pay that money. Why? Because you have many resources, multiple. You have case managers, you have a director, you have Kari. We will walk you through all the necessary steps of how to process a visa screen, what it involves, a timeline, any question, you name it. If we don't know what it is, we will definitely investigate and then get back to you. Second problem, those third-party agencies often are not familiar with the process and they don't do it well. And they will actually set you back. So they will cause your timeline to be longer. I can't tell you how many times I had a nurse come and say, I paid hundreds of dollars to this agency and it's been 8 or 9 months and I haven't heard from them. And please stay away from those third-party agencies. Lastly, they make a lot of mistakes. They sometimes think that they are doing the right thing in regards to your requirements, and they're not. They forget to verify certain things. They give you misinformation, and that also causes a lot of problems on the back end. So please, 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 if you are tempted to use a third-party agency, don't, because you are incredibly intelligent. You can do it, and it is not as hard as you think it is, and we will help you get there. And lastly, we want to make sure, and everybody knows, I don't think I've ever had a problem with this, you need to bring the copy of your visa screen to your embassy interview. Please don't leave home without that. I'll digress and tell a little story. I myself am an immigrant. I think I've mentioned that on previous webinars. And I remember the day before I had to go to Montreal. Anybody, hey, I'd like to see anybody that's got Montreal as their embassy, pop it in the chat. I'd love to see it. So I had to fly all the way across the country because I was in British Columbia. And so I had to fly all the way east to get to Montreal. And I remember the couple of days before that, I was prepping really hard to make sure I had all of my documents, everything perfectly, all my ducks in a row. So whatever you do before you head off for your embassy interview, Make sure that you have all those documents set up ahead of time and all tucked away in your envelope and ready to go. Never, never wait until the last moment. That's the worst possible time to do it, even though we're all incredibly busy and life happens. So that is probably all I can tell you about when to start working on it and why we don't use third-party agencies and why CGFNS is so important and why your case manager is so important. We're here for you. And this is what your VisaScreen looks like. Yay!
It's beautiful. It's like the golden ticket. It's beautiful VisaScreen.
We love this certificate. We look forward to seeing it almost as much as you do. Whenever we get those emails, and it is the shortest email ever, and it's "Ma'am, attached is my certificate," you'll sometimes hear case managers. We have a rather large room where some of our case managers are. You'll hear little, "Ooh, my person sent their You'll hear us cheer for you. So this is what your VisaScreen looks like. It has your beautiful little photo on there. That is official. It has to have a certificate number. It has to have an expiration at the top, and make sure that that comes with you to your embassy interview.
Yeah, and I just wanted to go back 1 second to the screenshots of the VisaScreen, and just know when your case manager is going to request regular updates, and this is kind of what they're looking for you to send. So make sure when your case manager requests it that you're not just sending the same screenshot that you sent, 2 months ago, that you log in at that time to CGFNS and you pull up this page and you take a screenshot of it, and always send an updated screenshot to your case manager, because that case manager will really be looking over this information and will help you kind of deal with any issues. If there's anything that's not processing correctly, they'll help you tackle that situation. So it's really important that you provide updated screenshots of your progress when it comes to the VisaScreen and also the English exam. So just wanted to add that on.
Thank you, Miss Ashley. I'll have you get me to the end.
Yeah.
Because you have the mouse.
Yeah, but I think Kari was going to share some exciting news.
Woo! All right, Kari, take it away.
Yay! I am so excited about this. So if you have a signed offer, big key right there, a signed offer from us, and you have taken and passed your IELTS or TOEFL between July 1st and September 30th. So you have to meet those requirements. Signed offer, passing, not registered, passing the IELTS or TOEFL from July 1st through September 30th. Your name will be entered into a drawing to win, drum roll please, $500. That is huge. Yay. That is huge. So we are really excited to have that to offer to our nurses, to really encourage you guys. If you're thinking like, oh, I don't know if I want to take my test, take your test, study, practice. I'm here to support you. I'm here to practice your speaking. I'm here to practice writing, whatever you need.
You have to meet those requirements, but you'll have to email your case manager or Kari, probably both, the results of that English exam that you passed, like the official results. So we can kind of get you entered in. And I'll just share real quick a personal story that we've done this in years past. And one of the nurses, I remember very distinctly, one of the nurses I was working with won the contest at that time, the promotion. And I had the pleasure of doing a video call with that individual, and it was just such a meaningful moment for me personally, just to see the joy in that person, that they had worked so hard to pass this exam, and then they were able to win this money to kind of help them on their journey. So good luck to everybody with that.
Yes.
That's such a good point. I might be wrong, but we have Christian, and I forgot to introduce Christian. My apologies. Christian Anguiano, who is, and the reason I forgot was because his beautiful face cannot be seen. He's on our chat function today, but he's also another one of our senior case managers. And Christian, pop in the chat if I'm right. I believe one of your nurses also has won in years past, and I think that might have been last year. So as Ashley was saying, we are just so thrilled when somebody actually wins this promo. We talk about it in the office, and I think we actually pop your picture up and share it in our newsletter. So we're excited to be able to offer this again. And of course, I'm just going to add, none of this is possible without Sir Ron Hoppy, because he is the one that makes all these really neat promotions and opportunities possible. So thank you, Ron, very, very much for the generosity and, you know, the love and the care that you have for your nurses. So I think we have probably reached the Q&A section of our webinar today. I just want to add, should anybody have questions about that promo again, if you're not sure, just reach out, ask your case manager. They'll go through all of those details again. I'm not sure who's driving CNA. Oh, it's CJ.
Yeah. Hello, good morning, and good evening, good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for watching the webinar today. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm CJ Campos, and I'm working with the marketing team here at HealthStaff. So here's my favorite part of the webinar, which is the Q&A sessions and VisaScreen and passed my IELTS. Do they need to wait for my VisaScreen to be completed before paying for my NVC fee bill?
So I'll take that one. Sometimes it depends on the attorney that you're working with, and your case manager can definitely advise you of that information. Sometimes we are able to pay a fee bill once certain requirements are met, like passing the English exam and showing the VisaScreen is in process. And other attorneys require to go that final step and get that actual VisaScreen certificate. So if you just reach out to your case manager, they can let you know for sure for your particular case.
I'm just going to add a little bit onto that. Thank you, Ashley. I get asked often, at what part do I have to show that I'm working on my VisaScreen where that will move forward? And honestly, it has to be right at the very end where we know that you have passed all your requirements. But if we're waiting for that actual certificate to be issued and sent, we know everything's gone through and it's good to go. And that's when it's okay to move forward. If we see that there are outstanding requirements, I just want to be really clear. We will not move forward with paying the fee bill. We have to know that you've met your requirements, but oftentimes it takes a while for the certificate to be issued and to be sent out. And at that point in time, it's okay. We might be able to move forward because we know that all your requirements are met and all we're waiting on is that beautiful piece of paper.
And I do want to add one more thing. I agree with everything Marlo said. I think our person who asked the question also mentioned they were at stage 6. Even if a VisaScreen is complete, the fee bill cannot be paid until the candidate reaches stage 7 when the fee bill is issued. So that is wonderful. If a VisaScreen is already complete at stage 6, that's what we want. That should be a goal for everybody. But as long as it's complete, as soon as we get that fee bill issued and you move to stage 7, we will definitely move forward with processing and paying your fee bill.
Yeah, we can't pay a fee bill without a fee bill.
Yeah.
So we would love it that and we have lots of nurses prepared at stage 6 and have a VisaScreen, and it's great, but we cannot do anything. We are also
manager. Also, here's a question from Toyosi. So here's the question. Can a UA degree be used as an exception for English requirements in VisaScreen, even if the RN licenses are from Nigeria and the UK?
They look at, I know that you have to submit like your transcripts. So to meet that English language exemption from taking an English language proficiency exam, they have to see your transcripts that you were educated in English, be it North American English, United States, or British English, Australian English, even South African English. So they do require detailed transcripts. I would definitely say ask your case manager, and if the case manager would possibly reach out to our licensure team so that's a very specific question for you and for your case manager. But I do know they require your transcripts, and you have to have evidence that you were educated at the collegiate level, in English.
And when you are filling out your VisaScreen application, and like Kari said, submitting the information on the application about where you were educated and details about your transcripts, and then when those documents actually get sent in, CGFNS will determine whether or not that English exam is waived or not. So the case manager, in fact, doesn't even need to do anything. That will be determined by CGFNS. And just one note, because it sometimes comes up, even if you were educated in English, sometimes it only applies to certain countries. So again, that's going to be based on like a CGFNS guideline. So you would find all that information through CGFNS.
All right, thank you. So next question is, this is a question for Kari. So this is from Goms. Can Kari help me with the live speaking mock test?
Yes, absolutely. Kari can do that. I am happy to help you. So what I do with the live speaking, it depends on if you're taking the IELTS or the TOEFL. There are a few states who accept the PTE, the Pearson PTE. I think it's only like 6 states. But I do help you prepare for that test as well. To my knowledge, I think there's only one state that accepts the OET, and I think that's Washington. So OET is not widely accepted. All IELTS, TOEFL, like I said, TOEFL. So that's how that works. I did get one question from someone I do want to answer briefly while I have the floor. Is someone's asking about the at-home version of the TOEFL is offering an at-home version, and the IELTS is planning on rolling out an at-home version. At this time, CGFNS does not accept at-home versions of these tests. So that's great. I love that they're offering those tests, but for your purpose and for the purpose of CGFNS, please do not enroll in an at-home version of these tests. I understand it's very difficult for some of you to get to these testing centers, and that's another cost that you have to put forth, and I hate that. I'm so sorry. But at CGFNS, you have to be at a testing center. You cannot take the tests at home.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kari, because we unfortunately in the past have had nurses do the at-home test and it was not accepted. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
I just want to add one thing also. And I know Kari's mentioned this. I just really want to highlight it because I think I've seen it come up several places in the chat. Just because CGFNS accepts some type of English exam, whether it be OET, PTE, whatever it may be, that does not mean that is accepted for the state that you are going to. And that is really important and has been a big point of confusion for a lot of our nurses recently. So I really stress that, I just want to stress this again, that you reach out to your case manager, you reach out to Kari. We can even connect you with a licensure person because we have licensure specialists here at Worldwide. So even though you may meet the VisaScreen requirements, there's English exam requirements for the nursing license for the U.S. state that you will later be assigned to. And we just have to consider all those things when you're taking the English exam. And we just don't want you to take the wrong one and waste any money. So once again, reach out to us and we will help you with that.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. So next question is from Niel Ryan. He's asking is an active license required in the state where I passed the NCLEX before applying for a visa? Potential that's a VisaScreen.
No, I'm understanding that right. Is an active license, you do not have to have a state license.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we're down with our last and final question. So the question is, do I get reimbursement for the visa screening fee?
That's a big question.
Yes.
I ask it all the time.
Typically, yes. I don't think there's
I
to
think
everybody, right?
I believe
Yeah.
everybody gets reimbursed, but we do
Yeah.
have a reimbursement specialist. So we apologize if that is any kind of misinformation, but to my knowledge and to Ashley's
Yes.
knowledge in the years that we've been here, a VisaScreen is reimbursed. But reimbursements don't kick in until after you've started the first day with your employer. So
And a couple of things, you have to keep your receipt,
yeah.
and you have to be the one who actually paid for it. So if you're submitting a receipt that shows your mom paid for your VisaScreen, that actually would not be reimbursed. You have to show that you were the one that paid for it and that it was done after the time of your signed offer. And then those typically will be reimbursed, like Marlo said, after your first day of work here in the US.
Oh yeah, correct. I agree. My wife is also an RN here in the US, and we had that reimbursement when she started working here in Encompass, here in Rock Hill. All right, so that's all for my part. So if you have further questions, always reach out to your case managers, and they will be more than happy to answer all of your questions. All right, so back to you, Marlo.
Thank you, CJ. We love having CJ and his wife as part of our worldwide family. So again, we're so excited that you're here and part of our team, and your wife's working so hard. Thank you for joining us today in another installment of our series, Ask Your Case Manager. I just love that. It's so much fun. I can't wait to see what we're going to talk about next month, but stay tuned. We love to deal with the issues that are really, really important to you. So here's my suggestion to you. We're always wanting really good ideas on what to put together for the next webinar. So why don't you reach out to your case manager and say, hey, thank you, everyone. God bless, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.